In honor of Veterans Day, I'd like to talk about a mission. The mission is called Operation Bolo. It was one of the most successful aviation missions in aviation history. And it changed the air war in Vietnam and brought the momentum of the air war back to the United States side. Now, before going to talk about Operation Bolo, I have to give a background information about the mission first. In the mid-1960s, the United States got involved in the Vietnam War, a war between North Vietnam and South Vietnam. The United States was fighting in support of South Vietnam, a poor democratic country, while the North was supported by pro-communist China and Russia. To destroy the North Vietnamese ability to wage war in the South, then Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara advised President Lyndon Johnson to start a bombing campaign called Operation Rolling Thunder. Now, the goal of Operation Rolling Thunder was to destroy supply depots, enemy troop movements, and ammunition depots, and other vast amount of supplies that the enemy was housing in North Vietnam and across the border in Laos and Cambodia, and use it to infiltrate in the South. Now, U.S. Air Force fighter pilots had a tough time conducting this campaign because the politicians in Washington, D.C., in fear of winding the war and bringing in communist Russia and China into the war, put on strict rules and engagements on the U.S. Air Force pilots. So that means the U.S. Air Force pilots could not use their full capabilities and power in order to fully achieve the objectives of Operation Rolling Thunder. Furthermore, interviews by Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara to the media revealed the bombing times, locations, and approaches that the U.S. Air Force would commence to strike in the bombing targets in North Vietnam. The North Vietnamese know the U.S. reluctancy to fully use all of its air capabilities, and McNamara's interviews in the media, the North Vietnamese took advantage of the situation and created an anti-air defense system that was more threatening and more powerful than Nazi Germany in World War II, with a combination of surface-to-air missiles, anti-aircraft guns, advanced radar, and the best newly designed fighter planes of the era, all supplied from communist China and Soviet Russia. Hundreds of U.S. pilots lost their lives to the North Vietnamese tough and powerful air defense system, especially U.S. bombers, who died due to the North Vietnamese fighter pilots who were targeting them in the air. And the reason why the less agile bombers were targeted, because they weren't as agile as fast as the enemy's fighter jets. Frustrated, many pilots began to leave for the profitable, rising civilian aviation industry. But one commander came up with a brilliant idea that will fool the North Vietnamese into thinking their fighter jets were bombers and ambush them in the air and destroy them. His name was Robin Olds. Robin Olds, now colonel and commander of the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, was a former World War II fighter pilot. Now serving in the Second War, was sent to revive the performance of the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing. He had achieved the rank of double ace in World War II, which is 10 kills. Olds was a dedicated commander who cared for his men and all who were underneath him. He had a completely different leadership style than most commanders. He led from the front, despite imminent and threatening danger. He had sanitized based on ability and ignored rank or seniority. Now, the plan of Operation Bolo was basically this. Robin Olds will plan his F-4 fighter jets to mimic the bombers' formation, communication signals, speed, and approaches to the target. The North Vietnamese will try and send in their most advanced fighter jets, the MiG-21s. These jets have been the ones that have been causing the most casualties amongst U.S. bombers, thinking that they're U.S. bombers. And then the Americans, hopefully, will plan to ambush them and destroy them. Now, 20 F-4 fighter jets led by Colonel Olds himself were coming from the west, while 20 F-4 fighter jets from the 265th Tactical Fighter Squadron were coming from the east. The goal was the East Force would be used as an anvil, while Colonel Olds' force would be used as a hammer. The East Force would try and prevent any escape routes from the MiGs to go to China, while the hammer, Colonel Olds' force, would destroy them. On January 2nd, 1967, the mission was delayed by 5 hours due to bad weather, but all 20 fighter jets led from the front by Colonel Olds himself came in pairs of 4 separated by 5-minute intervals for maximum efficiency finally arrived at the site of the battle. The North Vietnamese, slow to respond due to bad weather, finally took the bait, and 7 enemy fighter jets were destroyed in less than 12 minutes. The others were able to escape due to clouds caused by bad weather. 2 days later, 2 more enemy jets were shot down by the 555th Fighter Squadron. A total of 9 enemy jets, which were the enemy's most advanced fighter jet called the MiG-21. The operation destroyed 2/3 of the enemy's MiG-21 jet force, which the enemy had about 14. When Colonel Olds and his men returned, they were greeted with They're greeted by the ground crews with thunderous applauses and lots of alcohol to celebrate your victory. In conclusion, Operation Bolo was extremely important because it helped swung the momentum of the air war back to the side of the United States military. Operation Bolo also gave hope and rejuvenated the United States Air Force pilots into completing your mission, and also gave a chance for Robin Oates, his men, to be able to avenge their fallen comrades. Now, I'm sure a lot of us don't agree with what our military and some of the wars has fought, and our government's agendas in foreign wars overseas. But we have to be able to respect all the men who fought in these wars, especially in Operation Bolo. And we have to give an appreciation because they gave and they sacrificed everything for nothing, all for serving your country.